As I understand it, Antoine Boyer is a pretty unique talent, and you've told me that what's special about him is that he plays gypsy jazz and classical guitar. For people who are not musicians or guitarists, can you tell me what is the genius of Antoine Boyer?
Antoine Boyer, he's a very unique talent. He has expertly mastered the gypsy jazz picking style for many years, since he was 6 years old when he first began playing. And then as a teenager, he picked up classical guitar at the conservatory, and he plays hands down the best scarlatti that you will ever hear, which is extremely difficult. So I'd say that Antoine is a very rare talent. The best analogy that I could make is to baseball. In baseball, a pitcher usually cannot hit, and vice versa. Hitters cannot pitch, but I think in all of the last 100 years, there are only two of them who could do it, and that was Babe Ruth and Shohei Ohtani, who currently plays with the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're called all-tool players. They could actually pitch at a pro high level, and they could also hit home runs.
For someone who's a non-musician and not a guitar player, could you explain what is so special about being able to play these two different types of genres?
Well, gypsy jazz requires a pick or a plectrum where you're striking the string to get a tone. And most of it is downstrokes, but you're also using upstrokes. And that's a totally different muscle memory than playing fingerstyle classical guitar, which is with all four fingers and usually using fingernails to get a tone. So having that muscle memory in two distinct areas is very rare. And that's why Antoine is such a special talent. I mean, he plays scarlatti like no one else that I know of. Which is extremely difficult counterpoint classical music on guitar. And then he could turn around and play with the best gypsy jazz players using a plectrum.
That was me, your host, Felicia Lin, in conversation with Kaju, the other half of the Talking Taiwan team, talking about Antoine Boyer, who Kaju has interviewed for his YouTube channel, Radjet. And now, here's the story behind how that led to my interview with Antoine and Yori about their real-life love in Taipei story. It's funny because we had an author on who has this book called Love Boat Taipei, and it got adapted into film, and so it's called Love in Taipei. So the film version of her book was called Love in Taipei. So Kaju would say, after he came from the concert, I don't know, it's very funny, Antoine, because you did say in the interview that you and Yori met in Taiwan, but it didn't click during the interview. And then when he and Patrick saw you at the concert and you said that, then Patrick was like, they met in Taiwan. You know that they were in Taiwan, right? And then Kaju said, this is the real love in Taipei.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have so good memory in Taipei.
You're listening to Talking Taiwan with your host, Felicia Lin.
So on this episode of Talking Taiwan, I am really excited to interview Antoine Boyer and Yeore Kim. So welcome to the podcast, guys.
Hello.
Thank you.
I heard about Antoine and then about Yori through Kaju, who's my producing partner for the Talking Taiwan podcast. And he told me that you guys have this wonderful story about where you met and how you guys met, right? So could you tell me, where did you guys meet and how did that happen?
Yeah, we met in Taiwan at the Gypsy Jazz Festival. And he just came for give the lessons and as a master class, like master class or concert. And I'm just participated at the festival. So
how long was that? So it's not just a festival, but there's also like a residency component?
Yeah, it was a few days long festival. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was not a residency, but like we would meet in the night for concerts and some lessons. So Yori was coming from Korea and I was coming from France.
Oh, that's amazing. And so tell me like about how you guys met and how did you connect after. I don't want to get too personal, but it's such an interesting story. Did you meet right away and did you feel like a connection right away? And what was your interaction like? Well, maybe I should start by asking like how many musicians are there and how do the musicians get to interact and how did you guys get to meet?
So it's a gypsy jazz festival, so it's a group music, so you always play with other musicians, and we ended up playing together at a jam because in the night, late night, there was a jam after the concerts. So yeah, we ended up playing together there, and yeah, I think that's when we started to get closer. And yeah, the funny thing is that I didn't speak Korean, and Yore didn't speak French, and she didn't speak so much English either, so we basically we played more music than we talked.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Our language is music. It was music.
Wow. Oh, that's wonderful. So that is what brought you together. So you were in Taipei, I assume, then, when you were in Taiwan?
Yeah.
Did you get much chance to see Taipei or do other things outside the concert? Like, what was your impression of Taiwan?
I didn't get to see a lot. I mean, we were mainly the same neighborhood in Taipei, and it was a pretty tight schedule. So I really liked the ambience, and it was very relaxed, and I really liked the food and the people, and it was a very good memory. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see much of the city or even outside of the city.
And Yori, when you were in the Gypsy Jazz Festival in Taipei the same year as Antoine, was that the first time that you had participated?
Yeah, it was first time, and I really didn't know about gypsy jazz even.
So how did you hear about that then? If you didn't know so much about it, how did you get involved with the Gypsy Jazz Festival in Taipei?
There was one of the friends of mine. He just proposed me. Let's go together. It will be fun. Yeah. That's right.
Okay. What kind of instrument does your friend play?
He is guitarist. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he's your matchmaker?
Yeah, maybe.
Do you credit with him to be your matchmaker?
Yeah, maybe.
I'm wondering, how did each of you know that you wanted to be a musician? Was there a lot of music in your family? For each one of you, like, what was your experience? Like, how did you get interested? Or is that something that you always knew you wanted to do growing up? How did that interest get started for you?
Yeah, maybe you can start, Yori.
Yeah. My mother is piano teacher, so she wanted to give me a lot of experience musical. So I think naturally I just started instrument like piano and cello and trumpet or drums.
Wow.
So I had so many experience about music, and so naturally I just keep going to practice harmonica because I really like it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
How many instruments can you play now?
Now I play only harmonica. Maybe trumpet later, but yeah.
What is it about the harmonica that you love so much?
First of all, harmonica is so simple. And it has really, how I can say, it's really closer with human voice. So for expressing, it's really easier than the other instrument. So the dynamic with harmonica is really easy. Yeah, so I really love it.
That's really interesting. So do you sing also?
Not really, no.
It's interesting that you describe it as similar to the human voice. I never thought of that. That makes sense. What about you, Antoine?
So my father played some piano. We were listening a lot of music in my family. My parents, they were not doing like professionally. They were not professional musicians, but we were listening to a lot of music at home. And one day my father proposed me to start guitar. And I thought he meant gypsy guitar because that's what we were listening mainly. And I think he wanted me to start a style where we play together because it's a group music.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what we did. And we started guitar together with the same teacher. And after a few years, we ended up even touring together, and we toured quite a lot together as a duet.
So you and your father learned how to play guitar together at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And how old were you?
I started at 6.
Yori, how old were you when you started playing music?
I think it was 8.
And at what point did you decide that you want to actually do this as a living? Is there a point in time that you actually decide, like, I want to just do this all day and make a living from this?
Like be a musician, you mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because in my life, with music is always really natural.
Yes. Oh,
Like, yeah. So there is no...
not like a certain point in time where you have the question, you have to make the decision, right? That sounds like you're saying there was not a point in time that you decide, oh, I'm going to be a musician, but you were always like that because your mother's a music teacher, a piano teacher, right?
Yeah, and I really love play some instruments, so yeah, there is not moment.
Yeah.
Yes, and there was not a moment like, okay, that's it. I mean, we played with my father when I was quite young, so it was always part of the process. It kind of, came really naturally. Yeah.
That's interesting because most of the time I ask this question because a lot of times traditionally we think people have to make some kind of decision. Do they want to be whatever profession? So I think it's kind of interesting. So then who do you think are your musical inspirations? Who are the people that you look at what they're doing and you would aspire to do that, or maybe they inspired your music?
For me, it started with Django Reinhardt because, of course, when you play gypsy jazz, that's the main inspiration. And then there were all the other guitarists that followed and that are now the main gypsy jazz players. And I also had the chance to start classical guitar, so then I began to listen to a lot of classical guitar musicians and a lot of other instruments as well in very different styles. So yeah, I couldn't say only one musician or only 2 or 3. I had so many musicians that I listen and still listen. So yeah, I like to listen to a lot of different musics and not think too much about the style, but more like just what I like.
Yori?
Yeah, for me it was definitely Toots Telemann because he is like a star for harmonica players. So I grown up with his music. And then when I started playing trumpet, I really like Chet Baker and Lee Morgan or Kenny Dorham or Clifford Brown or Miles Davis. It's always love. Yeah, so I really like jazz trumpeter and jazz chromatic harmonica players, musics. Yeah.
So I'm really curious because as someone that's not a musician, and I'm just curious like how you develop your skill and then go into this path of being a professional musician. Did you go through a lot of training? And then do you remember when was the first time that you actually got paid to perform? Like, these are very interesting questions to me, like how you get onto this path.
Well, on my side, as I said, it started quite early. So I think my first concert, I was 11 or 12. So I started to get paid at that age. And of course, my father was, helping a lot with the management and, traveling and handling the money as well. And so, for me, it was quite an early process. So, that's what I can say on my side.
Yeah, but 11 is only, wow.
Yeah, you definitely need the support of a parent or some kind of adult at that age. Yeah, that's very important.
I didn't know it was 11.
You didn't know this either? So you're learning something. Okay, Yori, what do you want me to ask Antoine? I asked something else for you.
Yeah. Me, I think it was when I was 20 years old, I think. It was not real concert. For example, like part-time job in the wedding hall,
Oh, okay.
In Korea, there's the culture big culture about wedding. So
Mhm.
there I just played trumpet for the balloon, you know.
Yeah.
So I just made money there with music. Yeah.
I know it's kind of abstract to talk about this, but I'm very curious about how, like Antoine said, he doesn't speak Korean, and then Yori didn't speak that much English when you met, and how you have this common language of music. Like, so I'm sure, like, probably as a musician, you're very sensitive to this, especially when you're collaborating and playing in a group, right? It's very hard to verbalize, but could you try to explain, like, how do you read someone through their music? Like, how can you connect with them? Like, what can you pick up? Like, perhaps I imagine when you play with someone, you can feel if they are harmonious with you, or if maybe they're trying to fight with you for the attention or something, or if there's a nervousness or like the emotion, or how connected you feel when you're playing with each other. Is there something you can explain about that, or maybe at least explain about how you guys felt that connection when you started playing together, and then that actually brought you together as a couple?
For me, when I hear someone playing, usually it tells a lot about the person, like the way they play, what kind of sound they have first, whichever the instruments, the way they hold the instrument, the way they connect with the audience. So, yeah, it's hard to describe, but usually it tells a lot about the personality of the person. And when you hear Yore, she has a very powerful and honest and vibrant sound. And usually it tells the truth when you hear a musician. Yeah, so that's what I can say about this.
Oh, that's lovely. Yori, I'd like to hear how you feel about other musicians and Antoine's playing.
Yeah, for me, I remember that we played very first time. I was in your class, in Antoine's class, and we just played together. And this moment, I felt, maybe we felt, you have something what I don't have. I felt maybe. So
at the same time, I think we felt we have something in common.
yeah, so this one, yeah, this one also.
I think that the main reason we got together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm also curious to know, have either one of you been in a relationship with another musician or not before?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. And have you been in a relationship with the non-musician?
No.
Okay.
Really?
You learned something else too.
But I was
What about you? Yeah.
It's the first time with Yori. It's the first time that we really have like a musical, like we play together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which didn't really happen before.
What about you, Yori? I'm just curious about this.
Actually, I didn't understand 100%.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a complicated question. I'm just curious about what it's like being in a relationship with a musician versus a non-musician, if you have that experience.
Yeah, I had experience with musician and not musician.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel it's really different, especially like Antoine and me.
Mm-hmm.
We work together, we live together, we play together. Is 100% different because we share everything, almost everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I can't find some word for it, but it's really huge things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-mm-mm.
So do you think it's really important to have like a spouse or a partner who understands and supports your creativity, like your music?
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if it is art or music, is really important, I think.
How would you describe each other's musical styles? Antoine described yours a little bit. Yori, how would you describe Antoine's style?
Antoine's style is like Monet.
Oh,
Yeah, like harmonic. How
Impressionist.
he play is like really, there's layer, so delicate. How I can say delicate, right?
Delicate?
Delicate. So I feel it's like Claude Monet.
Oh, wow, that's beautiful. And so how does it work being in a relationship and having a musical collaboration? How do you manage all of that? Because tell you the truth, like Kaju and I are partners, right? And we do the podcast together. He's a musician, I'm a writer. And we work a lot together, right? We work and we together a lot of the time. And so inevitably there are disagreements and conflicts. I don't know about you. Maybe you don't experience that, but we do, especially when we have some stress or some deadlines or something that we need to do and it didn't get edited properly or something happened to the recording or whatever the situation is. How do you guys manage all that? Because like you said, you're together a lot of the time, right? And working together and spending all of the time sharing everything together. What's the most challenging thing and how does that work for you personally? And then do you have any advice for people who are in a partnership trying to work together too?
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's really challenging. It was really challenging to find the role in the music partner and life partner.
Mm-hmm.
It is different, the whole, the role.
Right.
The first 1-2 years when we are together, it was really different. It was really difficult to find it. But now it's quite balanced, I feel.
So what's difficult? What do you mean? Like the balance or like who does what? Like maybe at home, who does what at home or something, and then who does what in the musical collaboration? Is that what you mean?
I think it's more about the posture and how, because life partner and music partners can be very different. And we don't have the same role in everyday life and in couple life than in the music. So if everything is clear, I think it helps having a structured routine and also a structured life and musical life, so that everything gets together without too much friction. And also, I guess, when we are like this situation, when we spend a lot of time together, we also need some time alone, of course. We need to allow this to happen daily or often, I guess. And if we need to support each other as well when someone is more stressed than the other, the first one needs to understand it and to be like, okay, he's like to recognize the states of the other and know that it's just a phase and not take it personally or stuff like this.
Was it difficult in the beginning? Maybe you have to learn each other's patterns, or maybe that's what's difficult is to understand like the other person's energy or their habits or something like that in the beginning.
Yeah,
definitely it takes some time, but now after 7 years, we start to know each other pretty well and start to know the patterns. And
that's great.
Not always easy.
Sure. I mean, it's already amazing that you think like any two people that come together, they have such different backgrounds. But obviously, you guys are from different countries and had the different language. And so, Yori, when you and Antoine met, like I'm assuming Antoine, you were in France, and Yori, were you based in Korea at that time? Mm-hmm. And so, how did you make the decision where to live, if it was going to be France or Korea or somewhere else?
Actually, as a musician, live in France is really better, I feel. In the jazz world in Korea. Of course, there is a lot of good musicians, but anyway, the opportunities or some attitude for jazz musician, everything is better here. That's why I live here.
France is, of course, connected to Europe, so
Yes.
It offers a lot of possibilities. Definitely.
Antoine, what do you admire the most about her or her musical talent or her in general?
About Yore's music, I would say the depth, the impact that one note can have on the audience. Sometimes I'm very impressed how big it is and how one single note can be a very, very deep experience if the listener is attentive. And I would say that's one of Yore's biggest quality, like the quality of her presence.
Oh, that's beautiful. Would you have a particular piece or something that she's performed in mind?
Yeah, definitely. I think you can listen to Romantic Song.
And Yori, what would you admire about Antoine or his music or about him?
I feel he was born with big talent, first of all. But the important thing is he always try new things, always practice, always try, always effort. So it is really inspiring. On the stage, and we can feel his talent with his effort. So yeah, it's really amazing. Yeah, it was just amazing.
Yeah, and all the different styles that he plays, because I did watch Kaju's interview with you, and she went through that, and we'll be sure to share that on the blog post for this episode. If people want to reference that, they can go and watch the interview that Kaju did with Antoine. Let's talk a little bit about this album that you collaborated on. How long did it take you to work on this album, and what is the general idea of this album? How did it come about, and what is the theme? What are you trying to express with this album?
So we've been playing together for a while now, basically since the beginning, and we have had different projects in duets, and also we played a lot in group with quartets, septets, a lot of different experiences. And since the beginning, we wanted to do a duet album, but we didn't do it right away because, I don't know, we had other projects, and we made a group album. And finally, 1 year ago, we decided, okay, let's finally do this duet album. So we had a lot of songs that we were already playing on stage, and then we made a few new songs, arranged a few new songs, and we recorded last January in Korea, and the album was released in May 2020.
And are all the compositions, are they original, or other people's compositions? Or
Yeah, in this album, only other people's compositions.
Okay. How did you go about choosing these compositions?
Basically what we like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have different things. You have some jazz, like the pianist Bill Evans. You have some more classical inspired composition like romantic song that we were talking about. Yeah, a lot of different influences. The only rule is that it has to sound good with our sound. We need to like it and have to sound good, because sometimes we like a song and we try together and it doesn't really work, or we don't find the right way to make it work. So yeah, that's the process basically.
Yeah, I find it very interesting because I'm not a musician, but I did notice that when Kaju was collaborating with this vocalist who sang his song, and Kaju wanted the song sung a certain way with this high note, but the singer said that is actually very hard to achieve. And even though he's an opera singer, he said he would change it to sound like this, which was better for his voice. So I imagine that you need to make these choices too, right? Like what compositions sound good with your pairing with the guitar and the harmonica.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And I'm curious, why did you decide to record in Korea? Any reason or?
Actually, we tried one time in France, but it was not working.
Yeah, it was not the right moment. So we just...
Yeah, maybe, yeah. So, yeah. So in Korea, we just tried and it was working. Yeah, so that's why.
Yeah. That's great.
Anyway, we're always together and we record ourselves, home recording. So everything is not difficult to do.
Okay. So you did all the recording yourself, and then what about the editing? Do you have like some kind of sound engineer or like producer to help you with that, or how does that work?
No, I do everything. I do the mixing, recording and mixing, and then I just have I know someone who does the mastering.
Is there anything else you would like to mention about your collaboration or about any future projects that you have going on, or anything else about the album that you have out? Like, what is it called? Where can people find it?
So yeah, this album is called You and I. People can find it online on every streaming platforms. And yeah, go listen to it.
Where can we hear you guys? Are you guys going to be performing anywhere live, or what are any future projects that you have in mind?
Yeah, now we'll be touring quite a lot in duets for the coming year. We have a few concerts this summer, and in September we'll be back in the US, in the West Coast. So near San Francisco, LA.
Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I've been speaking with Antoine Boyer and Yeore Kim about their real-life Love in Taipei story. If you'd like to know more about Antoine, you can check out Kaju's in-depth interview with him on YouTube. We'll share a link to the video on our website, talkingtaiwan.com. Now it's time for you to show us some love. Rate us on Spotify, or if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Audible, leave us a review there. It helps others to discover Talking Taiwan. To learn more about any of the items mentioned in this episode, visit our website, talkingtaiwan.com. There we'll list any related links. Thank you for listening to another episode of Talking Taiwan. I'm your host, Felicia Lin.
Talking Taiwan is brought to you by Forumosa.com.